A smart old sculptor was finally allowed to leave the Soviet Union and emigrate to the United States, where his son lived. However, as he was getting ready to leave the country, the old sculptor was stopped at the Moscow airport by a stern customs official. The official began rifling through his luggage, and it wasn't long before he found a bust of Lenin. "What is that?" the official asked, eyeing the sculpture suspiciously. The old man replied, his voice filled with indignation, "Do not say, 'What is that?' Say, 'Who is that?' That is Lenin, the genius who thought up this workers' paradise." To the old man's relief, the official smiled and let him through. The sculptor boarded his plane to the USS, excited to start a new chapter in his life. But when he arrived at JFK Airport, he was stopped once again by a customs official who began searching his bags. The official's eyes widened when he came across the bust of Lenin. "What is that?" he asked, his tone a little more aggressive this time. The old man retorted, his voice rising in anger. "Do not say, 'What is that?' Say, 'Who is that?' That is Lenin, the bastard. I'll put him on display in my toilet for all the years he prevented an old man from having a good life." The official was taken aback by the old man's response, but couldn't help but smile. He let the sculpture through, and the old man made his way to his son's home in Brooklyn. As he unpacked his belongings, his grandson couldn't help but ask about the strange bust he had brought with him. "Who is that, Grandpa?" the child asked. The old man exclaimed, a twinkle in his eye, "Don't say, 'Who is that?' Say, 'What is that?' That, my child, is 8 pounds of gold." A man owned a small ranch in Montana. One day, the Labor Department got a tip that he wasn't paying proper wages to his employees, so they sent an investigator to find out what's going on. "Please tell me how many employees you have and how much you pay them," the investigator asked the rancher. The rancher replied, "My ranch hand has been with me 3 years, and I pay him $1,200 per week, plus a free room and board. The cook has been here a year, and I pay him $1,000 per week, plus a free room and board. And there is a half-wit. He works 18 hours a day with no days off, doing about 90% of the work around here. He makes about $10 per week and pays for his own room and board, although I buy him a bottle of bourbon every Saturday night. He also sleeps with my wife occasionally." The investigator said, "Uh-huh. That's the fool I demand to speak with," the rancher replied. "You're speaking to him." A nice, calm, and respectable lady went into the pharmacy right up to the pharmacist, looked straight into his eyes and said, "I would like to buy some cyanide." The pharmacist asked, "Why in the world do you need cyanide?" The lady replied, "I need it to poison my husband." The pharmacist's eyes got. A woman, pregnant with her first child, paid a visit to her obstetrician's office. After the examination, she shyly said, "My husband wants me to ask you," to which the doctor replies, I know, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I get asked that all the time. Sex is fine until late in the pregnancy." "No, that's not it," the woman confessed. "He wants to know if I can still mow the lawn." A man asked his wife what she'd like for her 40th birthday. "I'd love to be 6 again," she replied. On the morning of her birthday, he got her up bright and early, and off they went to a local theme park. What a day! He put her on every ride in the park, the death slide, the screaming loop, the wall of fear, everything there was. Wow! 5 hours later, she staggered out of the theme park, her head reeling and her stomach upside down. Right to a McDonald's they went, where her husband ordered her a Happy Meal, along with extra fries and a refreshing chocolate shake. Then, it was off to a movie. The latest Disney, and what a fabulous adventure. Finally, she wobbled home with her husband and collapsed into bed. He leaned over and lovingly asked, "Well, dear, what was it like being 6 again?" Wearily, she raised her head and said, "You idiot, I meant my dress size." The moral of this story is, when a woman speaks and a man is actually listening, he will still get it wrong. There are a few guys who always get together on Fridays after work for a drink. One Friday, Jeff showed up late, sat down at the bar, and kicked back his entire first beer in one gulp. Then he turned to Bob and said, "Times are getting tough, my friend. I mean, just today my wife told me that she's going to cut me back to only 2 times a week. I can't believe it." At which point Bob put his hand on Jeff's shoulder and said reassuringly, "You think you've got it bad. She's cut some guys out altogether." A man enters a tavern, sits down at the bar, and orders a double martini on the rocks. After he finishes the drink, he peeks inside his shirt pocket. Then he asks the bartender to prepare another double martini. After he finishes that one, he again peeks inside his shirt pocket and asks the bartender to bring another double martini. The bartender says, "Look, buddy, I'll bring you martinis all night long. But you got to tell me why you keep looking inside your shirt pocket before you order a refill." The man replies, "I'm peeking at a photo of my wife. When she starts to look good, then I know it's time to go home." An old lady wanted to give her grandson $10 as a Christmas present, so she went to her local bank to make a withdrawal. The old lady handed her bank card to the teller and said, "I would like to withdraw $10. The teller told her, "For withdrawals less than $100, please use the ATM." The old lady wanted to know why. The teller returned her bank card and irritably told her, "These are the rules. Please leave if there is no further matter. There is a line of customers behind you." The old lady remained silent for a few seconds and handed her card back to the teller and said, "Please help me withdraw all the money I have." The teller was astonished when she checked the account balance. She nodded her head, leaned down and respectfully told her, "You have $300,000 in your account, but the bank doesn't have that much cash currently. Could you make an appointment and come back again tomorrow?" The old lady then asked how much she could withdraw immediately. The teller told her any amount up to $3,000. "Well, please let me have $3,000 now." The teller, with a kind smile, handed $3,000 to her. The old lady put $10 in her purse and said, "Please deposit this $2,990 back into my account." Moral of the story, respect your seniors. They know how to get around the rules.